Good, happy Sunday afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to my news report right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First, Purple Heart and Deerfield. Here's a photo of the Purple Heart. Once upon a time, I divulged an interest in the Purple Heart roadways that were blooming around parts of New Hampshire. My interests inevitably led to the American Independence Museum in Exeter because their collections include one of the original 18th century Purple Hearts. It took me about 10 years to finally head over there to check it out. I'd done research several years ago on the unique medals and learned that George Washington ordered the creation of a Purple Heart-shaped award, which he at the time called the Badge of Military Merit. My pocketing around pointed me in the direction of the Society of the Cincinnati in Washington, D.C. Though one of its members, I learned the following. One of the three Revolutionary-era Purple Hearts was discovered in a barn in Deerfield, New Hampshire in the 1920s. The American Independence Museum has that very Purple Heart badge of military merit on display. The first three Purple Hearts were silk and were created from a bolt of purple silk General Lafayette had given to General Washington. And here's a photo of it right here. General Washington awarded the original hearts to three Revolutionary soldiers at Newburgh, New York. He said the badges were to represent not only intensity of unusual guarantee in battle, but also extraordinary fieldicry and essential service in any way. The three men who were given the Washington-designed award were connection soldiers. Between the Revolution War and 1932, there were no similar type of award. There were awards for members of the armed forces who were wounded, and after the Purple Hearts were received and formally established in the 1930s. Those who'd receive recognition for being wounded also received Purple Hearts, historically going back to the Civil War. So between the first three awards given by George Washington and today, 1.8 million Purple Hearts have been awarded. The American Independence Museum is a treasure trove, and Purple Heart is but one of the gems. The place has been very careful throughout and is fully of beauty. The museum is closed between December and the 1st of May, and because it's not air-conditioned. A visit on a coolish day probably makes the most sense. Two final points and questions. George Washington did not sleep at Folsom Tavern, which is part of the museum. He did, however, have breakfast there. You, too, can own a Purple Heart's Lao General Washington design. I purchased one you see in the article at the Daily Not Tacky Museum store for $3. Does anyone know where in Deerfield the original Purple Heart was found? And that does it for my news report right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday and see you back here later on. Bye, everyone.